So our first question is, what are your formative memories about LGBTQ people? And do you remember the first time you became aware of queer people and homophobia?
I suppose when as regards my awareness of LGBT people, it's really, the school where I grew up, the word gay was used derogatorily very, very often. And so, and that's certainly my first memory of these issues is that one. It's a very unfortunate one. And it wasn't until I started dating a young lady who had a number of gay housemates that I actually got to understand a little and became friends with people who I knew that were gay. And so that's when I first really became aware, rather than just being party to the insulting misuse of a word, and that wasn't, it wasn't until after high school, that's for sure. So that's when.
Awesome. Do you remember, well, you sort of answered that the first time you heard a gay slur.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can elaborate on how it was sort of a part of the language and part of the teen culture.
Yeah, I mean, the use of the word gay as a slur, as a derogatory term, was unfortunately part of the school culture where I went to school. I went to school at an independent all-boys school. And I still remember, and it wasn't until college actually, when I first saw somebody with the courage and clarity to pick someone up on their use of the word in that way, the use of the word gay as a slur. And I still remember she was so clear and polite, but forceful and clear that that's not appropriate to use the word that way. And that just made such an impression on me. That person's courage and clarity of vision. I'll always remember that. Yeah.
Was there a time in your life at which you weren't an ally, and when did that change?
No. There's never been a time. But as I say, I mean, I think, back when I was in middle school and high school, I was de facto, as it were, in practice I wasn't an ally. It wasn't through conscious choice, but it was because of ignorance, I suppose, that I wasn't an ally. And I think that level of ignorance and the effects of that kind of ignorance is very important. And I'm just, as a English teacher, as well as a human being that tries to do the right thing, I'm really pleased that the efforts that you and others in our school community is taking to raise awareness about how language can matter in an area like this. Words and the language you use is really important. Sometimes in ways that take some sophistication to appreciate, but yeah, I'm very grateful for what you're doing and for this being something that we take seriously at the Rivers community, because alas, when I was at school it wasn't taken with that level of seriousness.
Lastly, why is it important that we address issues of gender and sexual minorities in high schools?
That's an excellent question, and I think for many, it might not seem to be important. It's not an issue. It's not what's it matter. But I think it might be the kind of issue that attitudes towards sexual orientation is the kind of issue that for some it's a huge issue. It's very important. It's about identity. It's about love, and it's about the most important values a person can have. And that's what's that I think is an important feature of this whole discussion, this whole issue, is that for some it's not an issue at all. Why would that be important? What does that have to do with me? But for others, it's all important. And that nuance, that fact by itself, that hey, something's not important to me, but hey, it's all important to him or to her, I think that's an important fact to be aware of.
And we've been asking this, but it might be a little tough for an English teacher. What do you think the power of language is?
Yeah, that's tough. It's considerable. Is the short answer to that? That's what I think. The power of language is enormous, and in ways that you might not always understand. It might not always be evident why language matters, or the way language is working. And that's something, as I say, I think it's something that in the English department at Rivers we work hard to raise awareness about the myriad ways in which language functions and in which it's important. But as I say, your work is helping us extend those important lessons, if you like, beyond the English classroom and to our campus culture more generally. So there are different ways in which language functions in a play, in a novel, in the quad, but they're related. And I think it would be a terrible mistake to think that language, the subtleties of language, are only important in a novel or in a text and not in our mouths, in our day-to-day life. So, as I say, as a English teacher, but also more importantly, just as a faculty member and member of our community, I hope to be part of this awareness raising about how language matters on a human level.